everyone, welcome to Secrets of the Soul, Inspirational Women Living with Purpose. We have Tahnee here today. Welcome, Tahnee. How you going?
Hey guys, really good, thank you. Very happy to be here and share a little bit about my journey and what I've been doing with you guys.
Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks so much. Firstly, we just wanted to find out what you do and just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you've sort of grown throughout the years and things.
Okay, so obviously my name is Tahnee. I'm 25 years old and I'm from the Central Coast. Mostly I'm just your normal 25-year-old girl, but up until the end of last year, I was actually an emotional wellbeing coach and a personal trainer. And I ran group fitness sessions, I ran mindfulness classes, workshops, went into schools and ran teen programs, all mostly based around like self-love and body positivity and just learning how to be more mindful and have a better like emotional well-being. And the reason I got into that was because growing up I actually struggled with a lot of body image issues myself, and ended up with an eating disorder. So yeah, growing up I thought that the like most important thing about me was my body, and I was constantly dieting and exercising and just trying to be this like perfect little tiny thing and shrink myself because I thought that's what the world wanted me to do. And then, yeah, one day, I think I was about 22 years old, I decided that I just didn't want to live like that anymore, that there had to be another way to live my life. And then I kind of embarked on this journey to self-love and self-acceptance. I was already a personal trainer at the time, which was how I kind of was able to combine my story and my journey of self-love with this wellness and fitness space as well. But I was actually able to do it from a different point and kind of show people that health and fitness can be done out of a place of love, that it actually doesn't need to be about being this perfect person and having this perfect body, but actually about showing yourself love and compassion and just looking after yourself. So I've done lots of different things in that field, and I have been eating disorder free for 2 to 3 years now. So I struggled with bulimia, and the reason why I felt like it was so important to share that part of my life was because once I started to choose self-love and take on that journey, life became so much better and everything became so much easier because I felt this kind of freedom from just being able to embrace who I was and be myself. And then I was able to show up as my true self, which then led to so many different opportunities, and better relationships and just being a better human being. I mean, Candace and I went to school together and I was not the nicest person in high school, because I was so insecure. So it was just easy to kind of put this mask on and be this bitchy kind of person.
Many of us do that though. We wear these masks throughout our whole lives, trying to hide who we truly are, hide these insecurities. So it's amazing. Your journey is absolutely amazing.
Thank you. And yeah, exactly right. So many of us do it. And even I worked with women that were like, there was teenagers, but then all the way up to like into their 60s. And even then they were wearing these masks and trying to be people that they weren't really inside. And I think it's really sad to go through life and not actually embrace yourself and be who you truly are, when we're all absolutely amazing as we are. So to be able to, one, find that for myself, But another thing, to be able to help other women and girls to be able to do that as well, and kind of uncover who they are and just start to love and appreciate themselves, is really cool. I'm not in the wellness space currently, as I decided to take a step back and chase after some other goals and ambitions and dreams, but it's obviously something that I'm still super, super passionate about. And I love when I get the opportunity to share bits and pieces about my story. So
That's
thanks
amazing.
again for inviting me on.
Yeah,
Thank you so much
no,
for
it's
sharing.
good. Yeah. What led you to this journey? So you obviously said it was your eating disorder. Can you go into a bit more depth about that?
Like, no one really knew that it was going on. In high school, I was struggling with this very privately, and I never spoke about it. So it was very easy to kind of pretend that it wasn't going on, even though it was. I know that sounds a little bit silly. Like, I would go through a restrict and binge and purge cycle. And usually it was like I'd do it in the shower or something. So no one really knew what was going on. So it was easy to hide it. And it wasn't until I actually got out of high school and I met someone that talked to me about their own issues with body image and eating disorders and stuff. And I kind of cottoned on to the fact that I was really not well. Like, I actually had a problem. And I think as a society, we have created so much, like, heaps around people looking a certain way, and all this fitness industry stuff where eating disorders are kind of masked with being healthy. So I kind of convinced myself that the exercise and the restricting and stuff was okay. Obviously, I knew the purging wasn't great, but I was in a lot of denial until this friend actually spoke to me about it. And once she spoke to me, I actually started to think about what I'd been doing and how that was impacting me and how I felt about myself and how that affected everything around me. So when I really thought about it, I was like, in the process of trying to shrink myself, my body, I had shrunk so many other things about me, and I wasn't the person that I wanted to be. So I realized that learning to love my body and overcoming this eating disorder was going to be like the first step to actually living the life that I wanted to live. And that's when I kind of decided, well, I don't want to live life at war with myself anymore. Like, I want to live a full and happy and vibrant life, and enjoy every moment of it. Like, when I was struggling with an eating disorder, I didn't enjoy things. Like, I'd go to a party and it was such a struggle because there'd be heaps of food there. And then I'd be like, oh, okay, well, now I have to deal with all this food. Or I'd be worried about like what someone thought of me, rather than actually just being present and enjoying the people around me. It was like, oh, does that person think I'm fat? Or does this outfit look good? Like, it was so all consuming.
Yeah, really exhausting. That sounds exhausting.
Yeah, and it was just constant. This self-talk around my body and how I looked was just out of control. And once I actually realized that, I was able to go, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm going to choose to live a better life and to stop worrying about what I look like and start loving and accepting myself. So that's kind of where the journey started. And it's been a pretty cool journey.
So good.
Amazing.
It's nice
Thank
to hear
you.
about it. And yeah, it just consumes you, and it takes up all of your energy, and then you don't have anything else left to give to yourself, So yeah, it's really nice to hear you speak about it. So thank you. We wanted to ask as well, what women inspire you?
I read this question and it actually kind of stumped me. So I think for me, I'm not going to say anyone in particular, but women that inspire me are women that are like completely authentic and unapologetically themselves, and they just know who they are, they own who they are, and they live life by their values. And I think when you meet women like this, you can see that, you can feel their vibe. They're confident but not arrogant, and they just are very self-assured. And I love that because it reminds me that like we are exactly who we are meant to be, and that it's okay to just step into that and own that. So just really authentic women.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that.
Tahnee, if you had a message for all women in the world, what would it be?
Oh, okay.
Another hard question.
It is a hard question. It's funny. I've done like a few podcasts and stuff, and this question comes up a lot, and it's like, I have so many messages to share. Which one do I pick?
Pick them all. Pick them all. They're so important. Women need to hear this.
Yeah. But basically, I think that for today, I will go with stop worrying so much about how you look and focusing so much energy on how you look and your exterior. Because at the end of the day, one, no one's going to your funeral and talking about how bloody hot you were back in the day. Like it's just not important. So we shouldn't place so much importance on it. Like we said before, it's exhausting, it's time consuming. But also that, you know, losing 10 kilos, getting a boob job, getting lip fillers, whatever it is, it's not going to magically make you happy. So if you're not happy, if you don't feel good, I think it's so important to actually choose to love and accept yourself and to take on that journey, whether that be getting a coach or listening to podcasts or whatever it might be. Start that journey to start to embrace who you are, because that is when life will become infinitely better. Like life will become easier when you know what your values are, when you know your worth, when you just own yourself and embrace who you are, then you're going to be able to live a much richer life. So I think that more of us should be focusing on the inside, on our mindset, on our thoughts and our beliefs, on having a bigger perspective. And as I've said 100 times, just loving and accepting ourselves. It's not an easy journey. It's not something that happens overnight. It's something that you have to put a lot of work into. Like it took me years to get to this place where I can embrace myself and love myself. And even some days I still can look in the mirror and go, oh, not sure how I feel about that today. But I've trained myself to be able to catch those sorts of thoughts and not let them overpower me, and actually choose to empower myself and choose empowering thoughts and beliefs. And I think especially as women, we're such emotional beings that we should take the time to explore that and to learn how to deal with those emotions when they come up, and embrace those, because I don't think we should be just trying to push it aside and pretend that we don't care about these things. But if we explore that and just, a lot of emotional well-being, personal development stuff, I find that that is so important. So I guess my message is stop focusing on the outside and start focusing on the inside, because that's what really matters.
Yeah, definitely. Exactly. It's a really powerful message to send out there as well, to everyone. Can you tell us a bit about what helped you to love your body and the person you see in the mirror?
Yeah, definitely. So first of all, I want to say that I did get a coach when I first started my journey. And that wasn't just for body image. I was also going through some other stuff as well. So that was really helpful. I think, number one, reaching out to people that you know can help you is really, really important. But I do have like a few steps here, if you guys would like me to kind of go through them, that I've found that on my journey, these were like the big things, big contributing factors to me learning to love my body. So number one would be awareness. So you need to be aware of how you currently feel. So for me, it was actually being honest with myself and going, this is how I feel about myself. These are the things that I think about myself. And this is where I'm at right now. Because without awareness, we can't make any change. Blissfully unaware is not that great. So yeah, it's important to actually just acknowledge what's going on and ask yourself, like, how do I feel about myself? What do I say to myself? Because from there, you can start to create a bit of a plan of like, okay, I don't feel really great right now, but I'm going to make a choice to start to change that. Which leads into number two, which is responsibility. At the end of the day, like, you have to take responsibility for your own feelings and for your thoughts and your behaviors. We don't feel crappy about ourselves because of other people. That's very under-responsible. Yes, there can be comments and stuff that are made when we're in high school or from ex-boyfriends or whatever it might be that might shape some of our thoughts or help shape some of our thoughts. But at the end of the day, like, it is us that choose to take that on board and believe that. So I think it's really important that you take responsibility. So for me, it was making that choice to go, all right, this is how I feel, this is where I'm at, and this is what I'm going to do about it. And taking that responsibility for myself, which is an important part in any kind of emotional journey, whether it be body image or whatever else it might be. We can't expect people to just give us compliments all the time and hope that that's going to make us feel good, because even if you get a compliment, if you don't do the inner work, you're just not going to believe that compliment, really. So responsibility. Number three is a huge one. And I know that you guys are doing like coaching and stuff, so you probably will definitely agree with this, but that is to actually challenge your thoughts and your beliefs. So this is why the awareness is so important, because you need to know, like, what are the thoughts and beliefs around your body. So for me, it was like when I would look in the mirror, I would have certain thoughts come up, certain things that I believe to be true about myself. And what I did was I challenged them. So I had things in mind that I could use to challenge that thought or that belief. And then eventually those thoughts and those beliefs changed, because I kept challenging them and I kept coming back at them with like different thoughts, different beliefs. And that took a lot of time. It wasn't an overnight thing, but that was probably like the big pivotal thing, was to be able to change what I thought and believed about myself. And it's kind of like a muscle. Like, the more you do it, the stronger it grows. And then the less I listened to the other stuff, the weaker that got. So it kind of switched for that. And for anyone listening to this, a really good way to do that is to start to write down your thoughts and feelings about your body, so that you're very aware of it. I'm good at doing it in my head now, but when I first started, it was very important to actually put a little bit more effort into it and write it down on paper. And then next to it, write down something else that I could use instead. And our brains are funny. They think that we're telling the truth, but our brains aren't always right. So just have a bit of a broader perspective for yourself when you're challenging those thoughts and beliefs. There is some more, unless you guys want to throw anything.
No, go. Yeah, no, I was just
great. No,
I wanted to add, even having the willingness to change. So making the decision, I'm going to love my body, and then being willing, because I feel like some of us or most of us will be like, no, I'm going to make this decision, I'm going to do it. But are they truly willing to do the steps to get to that? Do you know what I mean? So I think that's another good thing to check in. Am I willing? Am I going to do whatever it takes to get to this? So yeah, I just wanted to add that in.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think like you're right, people will say that they want that, but then they won't be willing to put in that time and effort to actually make it happen. Whereas I had found I was just so fed up with living the way that I was living that there was no other option. Like it was just, I'm going to make this happen. So yeah, that is really important. Like, are you actually willing to put the work in? Because it's going to take work, and it's not going to be easy all the time.
Exactly.
But it's worth it. It's very worth it. Another thing that I found was choosing to appreciate and accept. So something that was really important was actually looking outside of how I looked and seeing what other things there were about me that I could appreciate. Because that allowed me to see that I was so much more than my body, which was not what I had thought before. So I could see that I was a kind person or a good friend or intelligent or whatever it was. There was so many things that I could appreciate that I'd kind of overlooked. And I think it's really, really important to start to look at those things. Ask yourself, like, what are the things that my friends love about me? What are the things that my parents love about me? Like, those are really, really good things. Start to appreciate those as well. And I say ask the people that love you what they love about you, because I think for a lot of people on the start of this journey, it can be difficult to find things to appreciate about yourself. So sometimes it can be a bit easier to go outside of yourself and ask someone else. And then once you get the hang of that, then you can kind of find those things yourself. And eventually you can start to appreciate things about your body as well, like what it does for you. So majority of us are pretty lucky to be able to walk and run and hug our loved ones and dance and sing, which is a really, really incredible thing. But yet we spend so much time hating our bodies for everything that it's not, when we could just be appreciating what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's really important. And then acceptance. I think I love the body positive movement. I really, really do. But I think they've kind of made out like you have to love every single part of your body, and how you look and who you are. And I think that that's not always possible, but I think that acceptance is always possible. You can say that I don't really love this part of my body, but I can accept it. And acceptance is really where so much change happens. When you can accept something, you can move past it. And then once you accept it, then there's a chance that you might even start to love it afterwards. So I don't really love my arms for some reason. Never really have, but I accept that they're my arms and they do a lot of really great things. So appreciation and acceptance is amazing. And again, if you want to turn this into like mindfulness activities, it's kind of like a gratitude journal, but for yourself. Like, what can I appreciate about myself? Write that down. And what are some things that I don't accept about myself that I could be? So there's a little thing that you guys could do if you wanted to.
Amazing.
Activity.
much.
I can agree with the acceptance part as well, because after I had my baby, I put on 35 kilos from being pregnant and fluid and everything else, and I struggled to lose weight for so long, and I put so much pressure on myself to lose that baby weight, and there was all this stigma of everyone losing it fast. And as soon as I accepted it and believed that it was okay and it will come off eventually, then that's when I only just started to be able to lose the weight myself, when I put my mindset into the positive side of things and said, well, no, I've grown this baby for like 9 months, of course, like it's going to take time to get off you. And it's like anything, I guess. I always had that stigma. Everyone always called me too skinny. And they always told me that I needed to put more weight on. And then when I put on all this weight, I had all this image in my head that I had to be back to where I was before. And it's like, it's not like that. And as soon as you're right, as soon as you accept it and you know that, you put that positive thought out there, that's when you start to, things start to happen and things start to change. So it's good.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like a really beautiful example, because we put so much pressure on ourselves and it only causes us grief and trouble. And then when we choose to accept, then we're able to move through it. So like you said, you felt that it started to come off, and with a lot less pressure on yourself as well. And I'm sure that you're probably able to enjoy your child a little bit more and be more present when you're not so caught up in that, that bubble of like, oh, I have to do this, or I'm supposed to do this.
And as well, like you have the whole thing of, your clothes don't fit, or you have to buy clothes all the time, and then it's that physical thing. And as soon as I started to throw away like a lot of clothes that just didn't fit me, I felt so much better, or just hide away the ones that I really wanted to keep, and then just have that whole different mind frame, and like that whole thing in my head. It was all in my head that I had to do it, and there was, as soon as I was like, no, it's fine, just breathe, and it'll happen eventually. And obviously with a little bit of other mental health, like health, that has helped me as well. So yeah, it's a really good way to explain it, and the journaling is great as well. So it's good. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Oh,
I haven't had kids myself, but I have coached so many women that are mums, and it's the same for everyone. There's so much pressure, and not just on how you look. You guys then have the added pressure of like being this perfect mum, and like, or being a working mum, or I just think it's crazy. So hats off to you guys, because there's a lot to work through with that, I think.
Definitely.
But yeah, so another one is, and this probably kind of lines up with what we've just been talking about, but stop comparing yourself to others.
Yeah.
Huge
Comparison is the thief of joy, and it's never going to make you feel better. Like, it just won't. And it's very easy to compare ourselves to others, especially when we've got Instagram and Facebook and all of that stuff. But like, it's really important to realize that someone else's beauty is not the absence of your own. So you are still beautiful, even if someone else is beautiful. Comparing ourselves, whether it be about our bodies or about motherhood or about someone traveling or whatever it might be, it's not going to make us feel good. You can appreciate what someone else is doing, but if you're comparing yourself and saying that I am not worthy because I don't look like them, or because I don't have what they have, you're going to feel really crappy, and it's just not worth it. So if you can't, like, if you do struggle with comparison, I would suggest, and this is what I did at the start, like, get rid of everyone on your Instagram and your Facebook and whatever social media that makes you feel like shit. If you can't look at someone and just appreciate them for being them without putting yourself down, then just get rid of it. Like, go and follow all of the body positive girls. Go and read a book about body positivity or self-love or self-care, and start to actually kind of take on content that is going to help you to feel better rather than make you feel worse. And that was definitely a huge thing for me, to stop comparing myself to others. And it's really cool because I remember, like, years ago, I would have walked into a room and I would have picked out every girl that I thought was prettier than me or skinnier than me, and I would have judged them straight away and been like, oh, she's probably a bitch, or try and make myself feel better because I was so insecure that I wasn't up to their standard. Whereas now I can walk into a room and be like, oh, that girl's really beautiful. But that's it. Like, I don't then go, so I must be ugly. Or, oh, that girl's got a great body, so I must have a shit body. And I mean, that's not all the time, but the more that I have, I guess, kind of perfected my skills and strategies on how to improve my body image, the better I've gotten at that kind of stuff. So yeah, stop comparing yourselves to others. That's going to be huge on your journey to self-love. And another one is to practice self-care. Look after yourself. Treat yourself like you love yourself. Do your hair and makeup if it makes you feel good. Exercise out of a place of love and intentionally, because it makes you feel good. If you hate exercise, don't exercise. For me, that's a huge part of my life. I love training. I love to feel strong and to feel fit and to feel healthy. Like, that makes me feel really good. And that's a part of my everyday self-care. But it looks different for everyone. It might be a face mask. It might be taking yourself out for dinner. Whatever it is, I think it's important to show yourself love, because that shows that you value yourself. That shows that you think that you are worthy. And yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
You are covering everything, Tahnee. You are just amazing at speaking this. You definitely know a lot, and it is so inspiring, and I'm so glad that you are here today sharing this with everyone. It is amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. Like I said, I love this stuff. I'm very passionate about this stuff, and to be able to go through that and then share with other people is just the best feeling. Like, I'm in this place now where it kind of comes easy to me, but I know that it was so hard at the start. So it's like, if I can give someone just like a little nugget of wisdom that helps them to start to live this more happy and fulfilled life where they love themselves, then that's amazing. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to share that.
You're welcome. You're so welcome.
I was going to ask you, what are your daily practices and what grounds you as a person?
Yeah, so I currently wake up ridiculously early for work. And actually I always did, even when I was in the fitness industry as well, because that's just what you do. So I get ready really, really quickly, and I don't really have a morning routine as such. But in saying that, when I get to work, I kind of just mentally go over, like, what are my current goals, and what are my intentions for the day? Like, I just ask myself, how am I feeling and how do I want to feel today? I've done a lot of emotional wellbeing, coaching, personal development stuff. So I find that checking in with how I feel means that I can go, okay, well, what do I need to do today to feel better if I'm feeling anxious or something? Or how can I continue to feel this great? So it's kind of like a mental check-in with myself in the morning, just because I'm on the go. But I also have this app, and it's called the 5-Minute Journal. And it's like my favorite thing. I do it every day. And it's like a gratitude journal. So it's just an app. And I think in the morning, there's like 3 things that you're grateful for, 3 things that you're going to do to make your day great, and then an affirmation. So that's kind of like my intention setting for the day, I guess. So that's something that I love and literally takes me 5 minutes. What do I do to ground myself? Recently, I have started to meditate. I used to hate meditation. I really, really didn't enjoy it, but I've started to do that only when I'm like feeling quite anxious, because I can be a bit of an anxious person. But mine would definitely be my training. My training is like my me time. It's where I get to just zone out for an hour. And I obviously get the endorphins after it. So that's really important for me. And I think quality time with people that I love is really important, and being present. So I guess there's a few different things.
So it's good to have a few different options. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't just have to be one thing that grounds you. It's a lot of things, you know. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. And also I grew up on the Central Coast, but I am a country girl through and through. So I grew up on dirt bikes. My nan and pa had a farm. We had acreage. So country music and going out west, like into the bush camping, that's like also very up there for like escaping and just feeling like the most me version of me when I go
being
out.
amongst nature too.
Being out in nature, that grounds you, definitely.
Yeah, certainly.
What inspired you to change your life? Was there anyone or anything that inspired you to change the way that you did life, I guess?
Yeah. Okay. So, a little bit of my story that I haven't actually shared. When I was 21, I moved out of home with a bunch of people, and I just kind of got caught up in partying, and some of these people weren't very nice people, and I got really, really caught up in it. At the same time, I was like in the thick of this eating disorder. And I remember one day waking up, I was super, super hungover. Like, I think we'd been out for like 3 nights straight or something. And I just remember waking up and I just had this moment of like, is this going to be my life for the rest of my life? And I'd kind of been doing that for about 12 months. And I hated the thought of that. I couldn't stand the thought of spending the rest of my life doing the same thing, feeling the same way. And I remember I literally messaged my mum that day and was like, can I come home? Like, I want to move back home. And that was really where my journey started. And just after that, a friend invited me to a wellness workshop. And I met my old boss, Sarah from W Tribe. And we connected over some similar stories. She talked about like her disordered eating and all of that kind of stuff. And I think that was the first time I realized that change was possible.
Yeah.
So I reached out to a coach that I had met 6 months earlier, I think, but I just wasn't ready for that part. But I remembered him and I reached out and I was like, can you help me basically get my life back on track, because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to be unhappy anymore. So yeah, that was kind of like the real pivotal moment of, oh shit, like if I don't do something, nothing's going to change.
Just like a lightning bolt, like a light bulb moment.
Yeah.
And
I was looking around the room and I could just see everyone else in the same position, and I was like, nope.
Yeah, full of like just toxic behavior that you just didn't want to be around anymore.
Was Sarah from W Tribe, was she the workshop? I think that's a workshop that Candice and I attended. We went to like
she was a part of this thing that we went to called She the Change. I think it was She the Change. Yeah, we saw her there actually.
Yeah, so awesome to listen to. I have her on Instagram as well. Like
she's cool.
Yeah, so I actually, so she was a really big part of my journey, and I actually worked with her for W Tribe. So when I was working with heaps of women, that was when I was part of that. So I love Sarah and love what she does. So I am not surprised that you guys have heard of her.
So cool, because it's like it always like someone connects you up somewhere.
Everything's connected.
Yeah. And the other, I don't know if you've heard of them, the other people I was coaching with is BU Coaching. They're Newcastle based. So yeah, they helped me, and then I started being a coach with them as well.
Cool.
Amazing.
Do you have any plans for the future, or where do you feel like your journey is heading?
Okay, so I thought that this question might come up. So as I said before, I'm not currently coaching. I left the fitness industry. I left the wellness industry at the end of last year. And that was really because there was a few other things that I wanted to do. And it was becoming very apparent that they couldn't exist with one another. And I guess I started feeling more aligned to my other goals than I was feeling with the coaching and the wellness space. And I felt like I'd kind of done what I needed to do and what I was originally feeling called to do. So basically I went and got a full-time job, and I am now saving for a house. I'm getting rid of debt, and I've been able to spend more time doing things that I love that I actually missed out on a lot when I was coaching, because I was like, I loved it so much. I was so passionate about it, and I spent every waking moment thinking about it, doing it, which I do not regret at all. Like, I loved every minute of it. But now I get to spend more time with my family, going camping, riding motorbikes, doing all of the things that I love. And I think what I learned towards the end of last year, because it was a really difficult decision to walk away from. It was such a huge part of my identity. But what I realized is we are multi-dimensional. And there's so many parts to each of us, and there's going to be different phases in our life where we kind of embrace different parts of ourselves, and they're all our authentic selves. They're just different. There's different ways of showing up as ourselves, I guess. So yeah, basically I'm just working full time to be able to afford to do all of the other things that I'm really passionate about and all of the other things that I love. So in regards to wellness, there's not a whole lot happening. Obviously, if I ever get invited on any of this stuff, like, I love to jump on and share what I can share. But I'm kind of just in this, like, I turned 25 last year, and now I'm like, house, maybe a marriage one day, maybe kids one day. So it's really just about setting myself up now. That's and enjoying life and this new phase that I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel I can relate to that as well. Like, you feel like you have so many skills and you just want to do everything, and then you don't know, like, you know, one day you go back to that or like change. Like, I mean, I've been in a lot of different jobs in my life and different avenues, and I think it's amazing to have as many as you want. And like you said, different phases will lead you to different things and meet different people. Yeah, it's amazing. It's great.
Yeah.
What's your biggest accomplishment? I mean, I know we've heard about a lot of it today, but like, I mean, what's your favorite and the biggest one that you can think of that you want to share?
Oh man, that is tough. Oh my God, you've thrown me here. There's so many. It's interesting because, like, years ago I would not have been able to say, like, I am proud of myself for this. Yeah. But now I'm like, I have so many things that I'm proud of myself for, so which one do I choose?
That's so good.
I think, like, career-wise, I've done so many things. Like, I've talked at things, I've helped teenagers, I've been in schools. All of that's really, really, really awesome. But I think, like, my biggest achievement is probably just learning who I am and owning that, because it's meant that I've been able to make decisions for myself that I am like 100% okay with, because it's true to me. And I think for a lot of people in their lives, they go through trying to impress other people, trying to do what they think other people want them to do. Whereas I feel like I live to make me happy. I live to make me feel aligned. So I'm just really, really proud of, going on that journey to explore myself and figure out who is Tahnee and what does Tahnee want. And like I said, when I left the wellness industry last year, it was a really difficult decision, but I felt great about it. Like, it felt really aligned with what I needed to do. So I don't think I would have been able to make that decision 3 years ago, because I would have been too worried about what other people wanted me to do. So yeah, that's probably the biggest achievement.
Amazing. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
that's really good. I'm in like a similar position at the moment to you. I've just left. I've been working in the childcare industry for the last 4 years, and I've just gone, no, it does not feel right for me anymore. Like, I went back to work after my second born Ava, and I just didn't have the same passion and same drive and same like feeling like I love it. I just went there and I was like, this is just a job now to me. And it wasn't my purpose anymore. And it's funny because as you grow, it changes and you have to keep moving with what is happening in your life. So, yeah, I totally agree with you right now. Like, just making sure you're checking in and what do you want right now, because it is going to constantly change the more you learn about yourself, because it's like it's never ending. It's a never ending thing. So yeah,
and how beautiful to be able to have that self-awareness and to be able to follow that intuition to say, like, okay, this doesn't feel right. And I think, like, as women, our intuition is something that's like, it's so massive, but we've kind of squashed it down. I think we know in our gut what feels right and what doesn't feel right. So for you to be able to recognize that and then take action on it, and now exploring something that you're clearly so passionate about and also is amazing for other women, I'm just gonna say, that's just beautiful to be able to do that. A lot of people would just stay in an unhappy job or an unhappy relationship because they don't listen to that intuition and that gut feeling that says this isn't right for me.
I've probably been there about 6 times, like 6 or 7 different careers and different ways, and I'm like, no, not for me, and I just go on my merry way. But I feel like as well, every single position of every job has taught me something new. And I'm not going to say I didn't stay there when I was unhappy, because I did, like, for certain reasons, obviously financial or other reasons, but, I stayed in jobs that I was unhappy for, and I did it for a long time until I was like, that's enough. And then you make a change, and then and you're more aware of what you really want. And, if you love your job, you won't have to work a day in your life. You just feel like it's just meant, like it's just what you love to do. So it doesn't feel like work, and what a bonus that you get paid for it. So it's great.
And exactly right.
I think, like, as well with the coronavirus happening, it has taken me to look at my life and just stop and just really enjoy what I have, like my children and my partner, like just spending time with them and just being present with them and exploring different aspects of myself just presently. It's actually a blessing in disguise. But yeah, blessing in disguise now.
I would have to agree. And I hope that there's so many more people out there that have recognized that. Like, I totally understand that times are tough for a lot of people right now. I'm very fortunate. I'm still working. But I think it has made a lot of people kind of look at themselves and reassess what they're doing in life, and how they feel, which is pretty cool.
And spending more time, at home and by yourself, and not having a lot of things that you normally would do. You do sit back and think, what am I doing? Like, is this right for me? Should I continue to do these things afterwards, etc.? You know what I mean? So yeah, I can completely agree with that too.
Yeah, it's been kind of like a forced self-exploration time, I think.
And it's like repairing and healing and everything, you know? It's good. It's really good.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you coming on, taking the time out of your day.
Yeah,
thank you, guys. Sorry.
You. No, it's been great. I was just going to say thank you, and it's been wonderful to have you on with us, and, speaking to you and learning about your journey, and just the way that you present yourself is just amazing. It's really nice
how you speak.
It's
truly inspiring
to other people, how confident you are, and, not saying that you always have been, you said that before, like, you have created this person that you just adore now, so it's great. It's good to see. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, guys. And as I said, like, honestly, this has been amazing. I really, really appreciate you asking me to come on and share a bit about my story. And good luck to you guys. I think it's incredible what you're doing. I will definitely be following along and supporting you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching Secrets of the Soul.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel
And like our Facebook and Instagram page.